So a woman who refuses to date bi men is very obviously homophobic, and I find it funny that a lot of the people who push back against that sentiment, that at least that I've seen, have been black women. Like if I got on here and said that I refuse to date black women, now of course that's not the case, but if I said that was the case, it would be a massive issue. Like with these same people, it wouldn't just be like, oh, you know, it's his preference, he happens to not want it. No, they'd be like, oh, he hates them. And I'm not even going that far as to say people who refuse to date bi men hate bi or gay people, but it's just obviously discriminatory. Because of the way you're grouping all these people together, I feel like people don't understand what people mean when they say that someone's homophobic for doing that. Like a woman who just doesn't date a bi man, singular, is not homophobic, but a woman who refuses to date bi men, generalization, plural, is homophobic. Like if a bi man approaches a woman and she just doesn't like his energy, she doesn't like his vibe, his style, whatever, she just doesn't like him, and that's the end of the story. But if he pulls up and she doesn't like him because he is bi, because of this part of his identity, then clearly there is a problematic view of bi men in general. And no, that does not mean this person has to flip a switch and start being interested in bi men. It just means that's what they are. That's how we're identified. Same way you call a racist person a racist, you don't expect them to change. You're not trying to get them to change. It's just what they are. So it's like these people are just homophobic. And the thing is, whenever these people start talking about why they refuse to date bi men, it's always homophobia every time. It's like, oh, like I don't want my man to be feminine. And it's like, okay, not all bi men are feminine. They're like, oh, diseases. And it's like, bro, that's classic 1980s homophobia. If you have no issue with this man being involved with women before he met you, but all of a sudden you think it's gross that he's involved with men before he's involved with you, that's homophobia. You know what I mean? Like it's simply an open and shut case. There's like probably the vast majority of women will never date a bi man in their life just because they just happen to not. And of course they're not homophobic for that. But like when people like have like their checklist of what someone can't be, and bi is one of them, when this person's orientation will have no impact over how they look, how they treat you in a relationship, or any other real facet that actually influences a relationship, like it's just obvious. It's open and shut homophobia.
I'm trying to be cool.
Would you date a bisexual man?
No.
Okay.
And
Not all.
their sexuality, but it's like, you like men too. I want somebody who just solely likes women.
Okay.
And that's just a preference.
Would you date a faithful bisexual man if you came to and said, babe, I'm bisexual, but it's me and you right now?
No,
Right.
I can't.
I'm not interested in, I'm not looking at no men, I'm not trying to be with no men, it's just me and you right now.
But it's change, right? What if you see somebody walking down Melrose?
Would I
Yeah.
date a bisexual man? No.
Have
I
you
would
ever
not.
dated a bisexual man?
No, that would be an issue for me. I don't. Just my preference is not to date someone who is interested in the same sex at times or sometimes on Saturdays, whenever.
See, this is why you can never convince me to be straight, because what do you mean the straight women are saying they don't want to date bisexual men, but when they're being called homophobic for that, they're getting mad? Firstly, let's just call a spade a spade. It's homophobia, because if the idea of your man dating another man bothers you, but if he didn't tell you and you would have been dating a bisexual man none the wiser, that's the conversation that needs to be had. But aside from that, I think the point that's missing here is the fact that you might be missing out on something. The straight men in your pool aren't exactly great either. There is a chance, and hear me out, that the bisexual man might have more of an inclination to your emotional needs and the things that you need outside of, you know, him being macho. And so, yeah, I don't know. This is not my business. This is straight people business. But again, like, open your eyes, man.
Can I free us real quick? This conversation about whether or not people would date a bi man is the equivalent to when a black woman comes on here and critiques black men, and a subgroup of black men come out to tell us that they only date white women. And we all start screaming, we don't care. Like, that's literally what's happening right now. I don't think that y'all are thinking this through. I think y'all think someone is trying to force you to do something, but the reality of it is we don't know you. Nobody on the internet knows you. We don't know you. We can't make you do anything. And I also want to say that I feel like a lot of y'all are adult age, but child-minded. Because the argument that you are coming up with is, well, they started it. That is what I used to hear from children when I worked in a school. And you know what I would say? All you had to do was ignore it. If you have your preferences, and you know that you believe that what you feel is right, then just do it. Just do it. You didn't have to tell us. You don't have to come on here and say weird things that offend people. You don't have to try to make people feel less than. Just do what you want to do.
I think that dating a bisexual man, maybe it's not a problem for me because I too dibble and dabble. I don't know. But I think the idea that a man can't be bisexual is, I mean, it's just homophobia. Like, you know, like if I'm able to like both, literally, because you're fetishizing me, that makes it different.
True.
No, I want to see boys kiss too.
I was gonna say, if you dated a bisexual man, would y'all get festive?
Okay, so this is my thing. I like to get festive, but I don't like to get festive with like my boo. Like if we in a relationship, I think it's gonna take a little while. But like I get festive, you know.
She's a festive girl.
She's the fun star of the show.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
The most disgusting and disturbing thing about this conversation surrounding biphobia is that y'all are simply being asked to unpack your biphobia and your homophobia. And your response to that has been to adopt the same tactics that racist people use when they're asked to not be racist.
You are under spells, people!
Number one, and friendly reminder, words mean things. And y'all are intentionally, or maybe not intentionally, but it feels intentional because these words are not hard words, so I'm gonna go with it. Y'all are intentionally misusing the meanings of words to justify your biphobia and homophobia. Y'all are like, oh, well, I'm heterosexual, so of course I'm attracted to other heterosexuals. That is not what heterosexual means. Heterosexual means you're attracted to the opposite sex or gender, not that you're only attracted to other heterosexual people. We know this to be true because y'all will say things like, oh, why are the fine men always gay? So you admit that you still find that man attractive. He's gay, but you're heterosexual and he's a man. So you're still going to find him attractive. Talking about it's just my preference. A preference is, I prefer straight men, but I'm not opposed to bi men. A requirement is, I require my partner to be a straight man and I refuse to date a bi man. That requirement shows that you have a physical aversion. You are strictly opposed to dating bi men, and you are being asked to unpack why you have that requirement, because that requirement is rooted in biphobia and homophobia. Speaking of physical aversions, the second tactic I'm seeing y'all use, if you're not intentionally misusing words, you're using half definitions to prove your point. Oh, I'm not biphobic because I'm not afraid of bi people. A phobia is not just a fear. It can also be a hatred, a strong dislike, or a physical aversion. Third tactic I've seen, if y'all are intentionally misusing words or using half definitions, y'all are just making it up. Because the amount of people I've seen talking about this is straight phobia. What in the sweet honey is straight phobia? When we talk about racism, homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, sexism, xenophobia, those things exist because people in those groups have been systemically oppressed for a part of their identity. When in the have straight people ever been oppressed, systemically oppressed for being straight? Y'all literally sound like racist people talking about reverse racism. Or y'all talking about you're trying to shame us into dating bi people. You made that up too. Quite literally not a single fucking person said that. We're simply asking you to do introspection and unpack the bigotry that you're perpetuating into the world.
A lot of pushback in response to my video about noob and bisexual erasure, and a lot of women are upset by the things that I said, so allow me to just clarify a couple of things. First things first is I've been seeing a lot of women say, oh, it's always you people trying to push bisexual men onto us and police our bodies. So besides the fact that y'all already proven my point that a lot of y'all are just simply homophobic with the you people rhetoric, no one is forcing you to do anything. We're simply calling out a mindset that is very much rooted in homophobia. And for a lot of y'all to be using the no means no phrase to defend this mindset is insane. Equating calling out homophobia to SA is insane. Are we well? And I've even seen a lot of women defend this mindset saying like, oh, well, I don't want to date bisexual men because I don't want to date effeminate men, as if those two things are at all the same. I literally point out in my video how I feel like I, as a gay man, can tell off first glance that noob is attracted to men to some extent, but a lot of women, especially the ones who claim to not want to date bisexual men, would not be able to had he not been open about his sexuality or very obvious in his expression of his sexuality. Therefore, being feminine or possessing effeminate qualities, or the lack thereof to a certain extent, is not the issue. Furthermore, there are bisexual men in this world who are not feminine and do not possess effeminate qualities. Therefore, you would not be able to tell that they are bisexual. I have met bisexual men in real life that I couldn't even tell were bisexual until they told me, and that's after seeing them walk, hearing them talk, seeing them move, and who they hang out with, which is why I said a lot of times women will end up dating DL men because they could not tell the difference between the two. Should men be more open about their sexuality and honest up front? Of course. But are women largely perpetuators of homophobia and thus reinforce the stereotype and this idea that men should stay in the closet? Yes. Of course, but at the end of the day, no one is saying you can't have preferences. But if your preferences are solely a sexual identity and not even a physical expression loosely tied to that sexual identity, that is homophobic. And if you don't want to date bisexual men because you feel like as a man dating another man automatically makes you feminine, that is emasculating, and that is homophobic. What is not clicking? And I've even seen a lot of women say like, oh, well, it's like not wanting to date a trans person. So no, and I'm not even gonna get too deep into that conversation because I'm not the most educated in that field. But what I will say is, depending on the reasoning, that would still be transphobic. So what are we talking about? And on a similar note, a lot of people think I'm talking about just straight women. I'm not. I'm talking about a plethora of women. I've even seen bisexual women who won't even date bisexual men, which is more closely related to people who won't even date people within their same race, if anything. And I've also been seeing a lot of homophobic women in my comments talking about, why are you worried about dating people that you're not a part of? Oh, because I have basic human empathy and I want everyone to have a fair chance at love and happiness. Have you ever thought about that? And on top of that, bisexual people are still a part of my community, so therefore I will defend them for that reason alone. Like, what are we talking about? And lastly, there's been a lot of people saying like, oh, well, it's not all women, so we can't generalize, obviously, which is why I said things like a lot of women or women oftentimes. Like, I try to not speak in absolutes and save room for nuance and outliers, but if you can't recognize that, that's simply just a literacy issue. Like, sorry.
Oh my God. Straight women, date who you want to date, but I need you to understand one thing, okay? Being straight does not mean that you're attracted to other straight people. That's not how that works. And it's hilarious. I feel like we found like the one thing that straight women are more ignorant on compared to straight men. Because a straight man would never think that he had to be bi himself in order to date a bi woman. But I just find it so funny because I feel like there has to be so much wrong like up here in order for you to come to that conclusion. Okay, for one, I feel like you have to not understand what attraction really means. Because if you see a gay man and you're ever like, oh man, if he wasn't gay, like I'd be interested in him. That's you being attracted to a gay man. If you're attracted to a man and then you find out he's bi and you're no longer attracted to him, that was still you being attracted to a bi man. Like attraction, okay? And for the whole like like the straight people date other straight people thing, like why don't you date straight women then? Because orientation is about the gender you're attracted to or genders. Like it's not like magnets. It's not like you're attracted to other people of that orientation. Because the thing is, for one, it's like, how would you even know? Flashback. So people are saying I'm misogynistic because I said I don't date straight women, which makes no sense because how is it misogynistic for me to not want to date someone who doesn't appreciate women the way that I do? And I feel like they're only trying to make that allegation because they're insecure about the fact that they know I love women more than they ever could. And have we considered the fact that dating straight women is honestly low-key pretty gay if you really think about it? Like if you're dating a straight woman, you might as well be dating a man. Legitimately, what's the difference when you really think about it? And again, this doesn't describe all straight women, but like, okay, think bioessentialist, gender roles, traditional, really fall victim to societal conditioning, internalized misogyny. That's how I view a lot of straight women, right? And what does that sound like? It sounds like I'm describing straight men. When I tell you, literally, the only difference between dating a straight man and dating a straight woman, most of the time, is that they have different private parts, okay? And I'll tell you right now, straight women, that does not move the needle for me. You're not gonna entice me with your body parts, okay? I'm far too pure for that. I wanna date women who are feminists, who love and appreciate women and are pro the advancement of women, who don't believe in gender roles, who believe in actually dismantling the patriarchy, and who aren't these red pill type people. And look, do some straight women probably fit that bill? Sure, some do. But I am absolutely more likely to find that with women who are not straight, okay? So that's why I avoid dating straight women. Because again, I've said it time and time again, straight women are literally just men to me. I see them the same way I see men.
If I'm up here, aesthetically speaking, and then she's down here, it's simply a bad look, okay? And then I lose my value in that instant. I mean, like, this is not charity. This is not Make-A-Wish. I'm not John Cena. I'm not, I'm not coming through to make you feel better, all right? Like, sometimes I do have to choose me in these instances of, talking about physical desirability. Like, dude, like, there have been times where I've been, like, at the function, whether, be club, bar, or, again, like, party or something like that, where a woman approaches me, I'm like, low-key, I need you to, like, get away from me, okay? And I don't say it out loud, like, I'm super polite, I'm super cordial, but it's like, I can tell you're ruining what I have going on. You're ruining my mystique. People see me talking to you. They're like, wait, what's going on? Like, they think something's wrong. Like, I remember one time, I'll never forget, I was too sauce, right? So I was talking to someone, and she ended up being, like, undesirable, and, like, people, like, they were talking to me, they were putting me aside, they're like, am I okay? Like, they thought something was wrong. They're wondering if genuinely someone slipped something in my drink. And it's like, do I want people to think that, like, you slipped me a Mickey whenever I'm with you? No. Okay, no, not at all. So it's like, you may be beautiful for these other people, right? Like, you may be someone where I'd be happy if my friend, that's a
So a woman who refuses to date bi men is very obviously homophobic, and I find it funny that a lot of the people who push back against that sentiment, that at least that I've seen, have been black women.
End of flashback.
Saying that you wouldn't date a man because he's bisexual is absolutely rooted in biphobia and homophobia. Like, what we're talking about. You're telling me that you've met a man and he checks off every single one of your boxes. He's smart, he's funny, you're physically attracted to him, he has a well-paying job, he's goal-oriented, like every single thing on your list, this man checks off. But then you find out he's bisexual and all of a sudden, you're no longer attracted to him, you no longer want to date him. Mind you, just 4 syllables ago, You were attracted to him. He was marking off everything. He was your dream guy. It's only because he's bisexual that now you're no longer attracted. And you want me to believe that that's not rooted in biphobia or homophobia. Be so for real. What else could that possibly be rooted in if not rooted in homophobia and biphobia? Then y'all talking about oh, that's just my preference.
Is it not enough that we accept you guys for who you are? We accept your lifestyle and the way you choose to live it. But the moment that we don't want to take part in it, now we're homophobic and biphobic. It sounds like the same thing that the community does. Like if you say any little thing about English, now you're anti-Semitic. We really gotta stop. I showed that video to my daughter, who happens to be, and even she thinks it's like, if you want to be in a bisexual relationship, find somebody of the same wanting. You know, find someone that is also on that level. But asking a straight person to be okay with that form of living, I think is unfair, because now you're targeting and setting people up just so you can play the victim when they say that they're no longer interested. It really makes no sense to me. Somebody tell me what you think.
One of the dumbest parts of this entire discourse is that straight women are acting like somebody is forcing them to date a bisexual man, and nobody is forcing you to do that. Nobody's forcing you to do that. What they're saying is that you need to look inside and realize that what you're saying and your reasoning for not wanting to date a bisexual man is rooted in biphobia and homophobia.
Okay, I have a few questions. What would then be acceptable for all of you? Because clearly, it seems that no matter what reason these women give, they're going to be homophobic.
Yes. Exactly. That is the point. You're getting it now. It's so funny that these people are like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be homophobic. Like tell me a way to not be homophobic. Like what reason can I give? You can't talk your way out of being homophobic the same way someone can't talk their way out of being racist. Like if someone is like owning a bakery and they don't want to hire any black people, there's no reason they can give for not hiring black people that's not going to be racist. This person continued the video. They're like, oh, like you guys are saying like anyone who doesn't sleep with a bi man is homophobic. And it's like, no, for one, we never brought up sleeping with somebody. Y'all did that. The conversation was about dating, and nobody said that a woman, if she's never been with a bi man before or isn't currently, is homophobic. Nobody said that. There are women who will go their entire lives without dating a bi man, and they aren't biphobic or homophobic. Where the homophobia comes from is I would never date this bi man because he is bi. You don't even have to give a reason, but internally you have a reason, whatever that reason may be. But not only is it likely or just objectively some sort of negative generalization, it's you displaying an aversion to a group of people based off their identity. And this identity happens to be queerness, therefore homophobia. Boom, yay, we get it. It's so easy to understand. And again, you can be that way. Nobody is stopping you. But it's like you can't be homophobic and then try to talk your way out of being homophobic. The same way, again, a racist person who doesn't hire black people can't talk their way out of being racist. It's just what you are. You know what I mean? Like there's no convincing you. Like we can't convince you to not be homophobic, clearly. That's why nobody's trying to do that. It's like some of you just can't accept the fact that you're not progressive. That's why you think people are trying to get you to do something that you don't want to do. You're like, oh, well, they're calling me homophobic, so now I have to not be homophobic. How do I do that? It's like, no, like you're just homophobic. Like that's what you are. It's never going to be a situation where it's just like, oh, you know, bet, like I'm good now. The reason why no one's encouraging you to date bi men in the first place is because if you did just be like, oh, I'm going to date bi men now, you would still be homophobic, and now you'd be homophobic dating someone that you would likely be homophobic towards. That's why the whole argument that like people are trying to get you to do something you don't want to do is just weird, because nobody's doing that, because it would make no sense. The audacity to be like, okay, guys, what can I say to make my prejudice not prejudice? Like, what are we talking about? Like, bro, like, think. Like,
Real quick, I feel like I just want to throw this out there because I feel like a lot of people don't get this. I've been in a relationship with a bisexual man for 10 years. When I meet men and I find out that they're bisexual, that is still, for me, more of a positive than it ever has been a negative. Men who are straight, I typically am like, okay, I hold you at arm's length, right? Men who are bisexual, I also hold you at arm's length, but I'm way more likely to respond positively to a man that I know is bisexual. Straight men, I basically, you know, I mean, first of all, I'm polysaturated, so I'm not really dating anyone new anyway, but I still flirt out of boredom. And, yeah, straight men, it's like, I just assume by default that like, there's something wrong with you. Like, I know that sounds a certain way, but I'm like, I basically have to like talk to you long enough to know that you've gone to therapy.
Jesus.
It's interesting watching the ladies go through different stages of grief while deconstructing this whole conversation about bi men. It's been mostly anger and denial, but acceptance has been in there as some of them have just said, you know what, I'm homophobic, so be it. And while I haven't seen depression, what I am seeing overwhelmingly now is bargaining. They're trying to figure out, how do I get out of this? Huh? Which I think is the baseline for this conversation. This is them finding out that they're no different from anybody else with biases and prejudices. And the question that they're asking to get out of this and try to negotiate their way out of this is, what do I have to say in order to not be homophobic or to not be seen as biphobic?
Whatever, I do what I want.
And to me, that rung the alarm in the sense that they were never looking to really fix this thing. They're just trying to look good. They do not want to suffer the social consequences that come along with being homophobic or biphobic.
We don't give a fuck. Grieving where? Grieving where? We're not grieving. We don't care. We have literally come together, all of us, besides a few lap dogs, we've all come together, stood 10 toes down with not one pinky toe out of line, and we said, we're not dating, y'all. You're not going to change our minds. You're not going to coerce us. You're not going to attack us. You're not going, we don't care. Say what you want. Call us everything but a child of God. We're still not changing our stance. We don't give a fuck. You trying to, what? Talking about the social consequences. What social consequences? Like what? Of what? This app? I don't give a fuck. Then talk about fix this thing. What is there to fix? I'm not fixing shit. There's nothing for me to fix. I've made my decision. We've made our decision. We're not going to date y'all, and that's fine. If you want to be mad about that, go ahead and cry to your mama about it. Because y'all, a lot of y'all have issues with your mama, your aunties, and your grandmamas, and that's why you on this app every other day fucking hating on women. Go unpack that with the women that raised you, okay? Now the fact that you're calling us phobic, whatever it's biphobic, homophobic, whatever, it doesn't have an impact on us anymore because we see right through y'all. We see right through y'all because at the end of this man's video, if you actually listen to it all the way through, he literally goes to say his intention and all their intentions. This is their true intention the whole time. That once we finally do unpack, right, whatever this unpacking is, that some of us, not all of us, but some of us will realize we're willing to date bi men. Pointing fingers is still at the end. Their goal is to change us, change our orientations, and shame us for being heterosexual, shame us into now accepting bisexual men as partners. That's the underlying. They keep saying, no, that's not. You don't have to date a bi man. No, it's not. And still when I say no, you're still upset. Still when I say I've thought about it, I've listened to you, I've looked at comments, I've done some reading, and I still am not changing my stance on it. You're still calling me names and upset. So the only way you're going to be okay with it is when I say yes. You know what? I will. But we're not, bitch. So get the fuck over it. Bring the next discourse of hating women. We wrap this up. It's not changing. So let's get to the next week of whatever we're going to get mad at women at, specifically black women. Come on.
And the problem with the bisexual discourse is that y'all think that y'all can debate people into changing what they're attracted to. The internet isn't real life, and you can't debate, shame, or guilt women into dating bisexual men. And for all of y'all saying, oh, we're not forcing y'all to do anything, we just want you to unpack and ask yourself why. What does unpacking look like to y'all? Because I've thought about it, I've seen all the takes, I've read all the comments, and nothing anyone says is going to make me want a bisexual man. Like literally nothing. And I've realized at this point that unpack is really code for change your mind. Because see, y'all are sitting in comment sections talking about, I haven't seen one good reason. Give me one good reason. That's weird. A woman not wanting to date a man for any reason is reason enough, whether or not it's rooted in homophobia. And I can't for the life of me imagine a woman not wanting to date a straight man for any reason and people telling her, well, why don't you want to date him? Give me one good reason you don't want to date that man. You have to give me a good reason that's not rooted in X, Y, and Z. That's insane. And this is a pattern within the LGBTQ community. The obsession that they have with wanting to have access to heterosexual people, their logic is you have to date them or you hate them. And you have to date them to prove that you don't hate them. And see, a lot of them are trying to compare this to things like race, but it's the exact same thing, because if someone says they don't want to date outside their race, whether or not it's rooted in racism, that person is still going to continue dating within their race. If someone says they don't want to date a black woman, I'm not about to ask them to give me a reason why or to unpack why they don't want to date a black woman. I'm going to keep it pushing. Everybody isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, and you just have to accept that no matter what it's rooted in. And no amount of name calling will change that. There are gay men who are bottoms that refuse to date other men who are bottoms. There are gay men who refuse to date feminine presenting gay men. There are transgender women who refuse to date transgender men or bi men. And the LGBTQ community is full of exclusionary dating practices, but the moment a straight woman says she doesn't want to date a man who also likes men, then all hell breaks loose. And y'all saying that knowing whether or not a man is straight or bisexual shouldn't affect the attraction someone has towards him doesn't change the fact that it does. And if dating a bisexual man is the only way to prove that you're not homophobic, then it is what it is. Dating is exclusionary, and people have every right to reject you no matter what it's rooted in.
I know I'm late to the conversation about straight women not dating bisexual men, but I thought about it, and I do have some opinions. Now, to preface this, I am gayer than a bag of dildos. And with that being said, I'm on the women's side with all of this. You cannot shame somebody into dating you for whatever reason. I think that as human beings, every single last one of us reserves the right to date and not date whoever we want for whatever reasons we want, and no explanation is owed to you. I also don't think it's appropriate to label people as bigots because they said they won't date you. I don't think it's appropriate to start throwing social stigmas on strangers on the internet because they said they don't want to date bisexual men. I just feel like y'all are skipping a few steps before getting to these labels. I feel like everybody is insane. I feel like some of y'all struggle with boundaries and rejection. It's just starting to get really weird, y'all. And yeah, a lot of you do have very left-leaning and liberal politics, but y'all still talk like incels. I was on Twitter, and a woman gave her reasonings for not wanting to date bisexual men. And then another man quote tweeted her saying that her reasons were not valid. Who the hell are you to validate or invalidate somebody's reasons to date somebody or not date them? Do you hear yourself? Like, only a man would have that kind of audacity. Somebody said that bisexual men are being oppressed by straight women because the straight women don't want to date them. Y'all don't know what these words mean. And then y'all keep telling them to unpack and unlearn and deconstruct. What is the end goal of all of this unpacking? And I mean that seriously. Like, when they unpack all of this, are they supposed to change their minds and start dating bisexual men? What if they do all this unpacking and discover that they like being the way that they are and they have no interest in changing? What happens then? Is the sun gonna fall out of the sky?
Queers, wrap it up. It's getting weird, okay? The fact that you guys are really telling women that if they don't sleep with bisexual men, they are homophobic and they are not allies to the LGBT cuties is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Mind you, I am a queer woman who dates bisexual men, baby. I have skin in this game, all right? I still think it's weird. And I also don't understand why is it always that women have to make the concessions? Like, women are always the ones that have to allow people into our spaces, into our bodies. Like, it never ends. Like, at what point do we have the right to say, no is a complete sentence. I don't want to, I don't feel like it. I heard a take where this guy, and if I am misgendering them, please, I apologize, I'm not doing it on purpose. This guy went and recorded a video and said that the reason why there are so many DL men is because women are uncomfortable dating bisexual men. And if we dated bisexual men, then those men who are in the closet would feel more comfortable sleeping. You want me to sleep with somebody I don't want to sleep with so you can get more crazy work. Crazy work. It's not a good look for anybody involved. I don't think I should have to sleep with somebody to prove that I'm supporting them. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird because it's like, I don't know. I love soccer. Should I go sleep with the You know what? That's not a great example.
To the women who feel uncomfortable around dating openly bisexual men, this video is for you because I want to check your temperature on something. So here's the question. Is your discomfort around dating a bisexual man because of the fear of being in competition with another man, or your man potentially cheating on you with a man?
Nobody gives I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Nobody cares about being labeled homophobic. Those days of shaming people for having their own opinion, for having their own mindset, and for not believing the shit that you believe in, and for people that don't support the shit that you do, the days of trying to shame them for them having their own objective thoughts, practices, and faith is over.